if I traded it all.
Welcome back, everyone. And hi, everybody. We're live on Facebook. Please like us, follow us. This is really fun to be able to do all of that. And everybody can call in as well. I have my next guest has never been on my radio show before. I have with me Andy Paus, and she is a partner with Arizona Mediation Institute. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do. I am said thank you because it's so nice to be able to possibly do something like this. And a lot of people may not even understand it or know what it is. So welcome to the show. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. I have been a divorce lawyer for about 20 years. And about 5 years ago, I was lucky enough to change my practice into full-time mediation.
Wow. So what does that really mean when you say mediation?
Mediation is a process where you work with a neutral party and that neutral party will facilitate an agreement between the parties in order to reach a settlement.
Well, wouldn't that be nice if everybody can do it that way?
Absolutely.
But let me say this. A lot of people think that they just can't talk to one another, whatever. But almost anyone, do you think you can get them together and they can work it out pretty amicably?
Absolutely. There's all kinds of different ways that we can mediate because mediation is a voluntary process. So when you come in to mediate, we can do the process in the way that works best for you. If we need to meet with you in separate rooms, we can do that. But most of the time, if people don't have attorneys and they want to work with the mediator together, I have them in the same room for 90% of the time.
That's awesome.
And they're able to work together, and we just have to help them communicate better.
Well, I'll tell you what, I know a lot of people right now, it's Christmas around the corner, and you're all holding off tight with those divorce thoughts, But people argue. It's a big time where the people are arguing and this and that. This information, whether you need it now, whether you write it down, this is something important for you to have. Listen up, everyone. So the website is Arizona Mediation. It's Arizona spelled out, mediation.com. The number to call directly is 602-852-5565. Now, okay, what's the role of the mediator?
The mediator is the neutral. So it's the job of the mediator to remain neutral throughout the process and keep the conversation going. My goal in mediations is to make sure that people are coming up with their own ideas for settlement. But if they reach impasse, then we can give them some ideas because this isn't my first divorce. I've been doing divorce for a long, long time.
20 years she's been doing divorce, and that's a really long time. So you know both sides of how this works. And I think it's really nice to be able to have it this way because, listen, let's face it, divorce can be very ugly, and it doesn't have to be, is what you're really saying.
Right. So a lot of times this is the best communication that the parties have had in years, because they're able to sit down with a facilitator and work through that conversation.
Right. Now, when you come to you, do they still have to hire an attorney, or how does that work?
They don't have to hire an attorney. We do two kinds of mediation. Pro per mediation, which is mediation when people don't have attorneys in the room with them. They certainly can have attorneys who are giving them legal advice before and after mediation, or that can look over the paperwork. And then we have lawyer mediation where they've worked with their attorneys for sometimes months and months, and they come in for a full day and work with the mediator in order to get a final settlement for their divorce.
Now, her website is arizonamediation.com. The phone number to call direct is 602-852-5565. She's been doing this for 20 years as divorces, but now has turned around. How long ago did you do that?
5 years ago.
So 5 years ago. But you know what? Awesome, because there is no reason why you don't have to always hate each other and, fight. It makes it worse. And there's so much easier to have somebody like this and to maybe make it more, actually even better sometimes it turnouts, right?
Right.
I know I wish I did. I mean, of course, I listened to my ex-husband and said, don't worry, I won't hurt you. You don't need to have an attorney. No, you do. Yeah. But at least to have a mediator, at least I would have been loved to have something like that. Okay, so let me ask you this. What kinds of issues can you then mediate? Anything within a divorce or what?
Anything within the divorce. So we have everything from, some people come in pre-divorce and say, we're thinking about separating, and we want to negotiate some rules about the separation process. So starting from that process to we want to get a divorce, or we want to do a legal separation, or we've never been divorced but we have a child together, through the divorce process is over and now we have post-decree issues, whether it's modification of child support or spousal maintenance or parenting time or legal decision-making, the gamut of all of the family law issues we can do.
Well, she's been doing it for 20 years. You could call her direct at 602-852-5565, ArizonaMediation.com. So let's say someone can't even communicate at all, and how does someone then help them reach that agreement? I mean, have you ever had them fighting it out or whatever? I mean, really, what happens if they can't talk?
If they can't talk to each other and they can't be facilitated, there aren't very many at all that truly can't talk to each other. They just need the support of the facilitator, the mediator, to really get their words out. But sometimes I will caucus, and that means I'm meeting with one party in one room and one party in the other room, and we'll go through the whole mediation that way.
I would like to know what this is. What is the process? What does it look like when people come to you? What does it start? It obviously starts with a phone call. What does the process look like?
So once they decide that they're going to come in to mediate, they meet with, my process is we meet for about 2 hours for that first session. And in that first session, we'll talk about the mediation process, our interaction with the court, and then we really start the mediation process where we start talking about every issue we need to. And then we'll meet for 2 hours at a time for as many sessions as we need to.
Now, there's paperwork involved with, obviously getting a divorce. When they're working with you as a mediator and you're helping form, right, how it's going to look, and working it out together, then how does the process work with the paperwork? Do you do that? Do they have to do that? Or is it a choice, or how does that work?
Well, of course it's a choice, but we do the paperwork in most of our mediations, and then we encourage people to have them reviewed by their own legal counsel. But we'll do start to finish. We'll draft the petition all the way through to the final documents. So
let me ask you this too, because a lot of people want to know, especially when you think about, attorneys, that it's money, a lot of money, and is it less money to actually go with a mediator? Is that?
It is, because you're only hiring one professional. You're hiring the mediator to help you, and you're not involving two attorneys at a time, and you're also not having to have that conversation from attorney to attorney. You're having the conversation from husband to wife, helped by the mediator. So most of the time it's significantly less expensive to do it with the mediation process.
So when you're working with your clients and you're doing this mediation, well, I would think that probably a lot of women resonate with this, because they want it to be nice. They don't want it, Is that true, or do you find that both men and women resonate with using a mediator?
I think both do. And it's not necessarily nice. You don't have to be reasonable people to come in and mediate. There can be really hard feelings, and there can be, a lot of anger. It still works to do the mediation process. And I think both parties really appreciate it, no matter husband, wife, male, female, it doesn't matter.
Right.
And same-sex couples as well.
Sure. So, okay, that's another thing to ask you. I mean, does it really matter in, what type of situation that they're in? A mediator can work in any situation?
Any situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now, the process when you're doing with you, how long does the process, sometimes people are it could go on forever. Go ahead.
Right. The litigation process is very long, so it can be years. Most of the time, a year, maybe a year or two, when you're in the mediation process. Mm-hmm. The mediation process can take 60 days or so. because that's the waiting period we have between filing the petition and being able to get the document submitted to the court. But most of the time, it's only going to take a couple of months, depending on how big the estate is, how many issues there are, and those types of things. But significantly faster than litigation.
Let's say somebody is listening to this and they've already been, through divorce, but a lot of people have to go back into, right? Is it okay to come to someone like you instead of having to use the attorney that they use? I mean, I'm just wondering on that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking for the audience out there right now. Can they do that?
Absolutely. So they need an agreement. That's the first thing. So they need an agreement with their partner, whoever they're talking to, they have a dispute with, to come in and mediate. From there, we can do post-decree issues, or any issue that you have.
Well, I'll tell you something a nice way to do something that may not always be so nice sometimes. And this is something that's pretty new to a lot of people out there. So it's really good that you're listening to this and hearing it. Check it out on the website. It's ArizonaMediation.com. You can call them direct at 602-852-5565.